information. Once we receive that payroll information, we put it into the system, and basically the system has the automated ability, but because all the churches are not enrolled in that, I have to, on the 20th, create a manual entry in our Adventist accounting system. This is a completely different accounting system where I will be taking account of those who has ACH on the record for us to pull, and I will authorize that pull manually with another Nacha file. Um, because our payroll system currently has the automated process established as the standard, I guess, uh, by the North American division, it creates a batch file or a journal entry in our Adventist accounting system that duplicates that pool that I have to reverse every month for all the churches until we get all churches on board. So once Northside gets on there, it will basically eliminate a few hours worth of work for me in that process. And I'm hoping that we can kind of embrace how it has been a great benefit to all of our other congregations thus far. It has done a remarkable work at keeping the conference, I guess, whole in terms of not falling behind in collections and things of that nature. Because in the past, not like what you're guys are doing now with sending the funds, but also that safety, that additional safety that has been there. We never pull more than what we're told to pull, right? And that goes the same with remittance. We receive the reports by your teams by the 8th of the month, and I put that in as backup because I have to have backup with you guys authorizing it every single time, and attach that to the file when I'm creating the entry on the 8th so that it pulls on the 10th the same way. But we never go into the church's bank account unless there's authorization from the church to do so. But we do send you money that has been authorized, and the pastor knows about this because there's meetings for evangelism funds and
Hmm.
whatnot.
Hmm.
And you always will receive a notification, and I'm sure you guys have been getting those notifications that say an ACH deposit, direct deposit, has been made into your account. And the same thing will happen whenever we pull the
Yes.
remittance funds. You'll receive an ACH notification on the it'll probably be coming on the like the 9th or so, where it says that funds are going to be pulled for the 10th, and you'll have the backup for that you can use so that you're not caught off guard or anything like that. But you should always expect it to be those times every single month. I know that was a lot. I don't know if you had any additional questions with regards to that, but we do have a lot of safety protocols with regards to the ACH process. It takes a very it's an arduous task for us to even get into the Cash Pro system. That's what we use with Bank of America is Cash Pro. That allows for us to input our Nacha files, and it's very difficult for any type of erroneous activities to happen on that level. We haven't had any issues with it since we started quite a few years ago. I'm not sure if it was like in 21 or 22 that we started using the Nacha and Cash Pro system altogether.
So, Jonathan, I have a question. So when did we move away from, at one time I know I would send checks on the third Sabbath. I mean, after the third week of tithe, and then at the end of the fourth week. When did we move from that? Do you remember or no?
So I remember that the reports were due, I thought, on the between the 8th and the 10th. That's kind of what I had known it to be.
Okay.
We were
Okay.
expecting to receive checks from the churches between
Mm-hmm.
the 8th and the 10th. That's what I recall. And
Okay.
then if we got it later than that, it was usually considered late by that time. But yeah, that was around the time that I was accustomed to receiving it on time. Anything later would be considered late at that point.
Okay. Are there any more questions?
Yes, this is Anita. Hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
When you and I talked on the phone, you mentioned about accounts receivable difference, backup, and then you also talked about payroll taxes. Can you explain that to the
Oh
finance
yeah,
committee?
yeah. Absolutely. So what I do know, so I our HR department and Kelly are the ones that put in the data that you guys give for the payroll on the 15th. And essentially there is a phase that they have to go through to see exactly how much is being pulled for the St. Louis, how much is being pulled in difference based on, if a person meets a certain income threshold or whatever it is. So essentially that I think 7.65%, they give you that to give a rough estimate. However, because of like St. Louis, I think the city of St. Louis like has like an additional 1%, and probably few other inclusions for other districts. That that number, the 7.65, isn't always accurate. So you end up being like maybe 1% off when you guys make the estimate and send it to us. However, when it's gone through once we get everyone on the automated system, we won't have to worry about churches sending us the estimates based on that percentage. I can't speak to why they're not able to necessarily get you that accurate number right away, but because we're kind of backloaded with a lot of various things on our end, it's I'm guessing that it's just not within their capability to kind of do that for every single church throughout the middle of the month. So we do have that 1% off, or like maybe 0.7% off every single month, where it's accumulating, and what we're having to do is we're forgiving it. That's what we've been doing, is forgiving it and just tackling that debt ourselves, as an uncollectible, because we're not it's not your fault, but it's more just because we're thinking about the value of time and money here, and the amount of effort it's going to take for us to get that information to you. If we were to rely on the automated system, it will pull exactly what is needed every single time. When it's paying the people on the 28th, it will also pull exactly what's needed from Northside on the 28th. So that will definitely help us in that end as well.
And so, Jonathan, this is Donna. So we neither operate or our business is not in St. Louis City, so we shouldn't be paying local city taxes. So if we are, we should not be, because the church is listed in the county. So
So I
it
think
should
it's
only
because
be
you're
the county
residents.
taxes that we're paying, and I don't think St.
Okay.
Louis County has a tax.
So I can look and see what residence it could be. So it could be someone that lives in that part of the city that has that additional 1%. I'm not necessarily
Okay.
so, but that because, like, for instance, I work in Kansas City,
Mm-hmm.
Kansas, but I still have to pay Kansas City, Missouri city local tax. So it's an extra 1% of my paycheck. I know that's how it is for me here, but um
So the
the
conference collects that tax for you, because normally, I mean, so I have a business and I have employees from Illinois and Missouri. I don't collect Illinois taxes for them. They have to pay Illinois taxes on their own, only collect taxes for the state of Missouri. So, and I don't know if it's because of the number of employees you have and the many states you're in, if that plays a factor in it.
So when it comes to the locality taxes, we collect those. When it comes to
Mhm.
like my pay, my W-2, I get a W-2 for the state of Kansas, but they also have the locality Kansas City tax taken out from my check as well.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now, I mean, I understand that part now. So that's why the variation, because they're not taking out locality taxes. And so
Right.
they go back in after the fact to do the locality.
Correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Anita, the floor is yours.
Okay. Okay. So then, seeing that you said that that's a tax or whatever you said that the conference is going to cover, they're
We're
not going
forgiving you.
to. So if they go to pull the funds, that those taxes are not going to be included in the pull.
No, it will be included because like, what's happening right now is our accounting is off, and we can't send you a balance forward statement because it's accumulating like those debts for you and other churches that have that additional amounts. And we want to send correct statements, but it's causing us to. We have a firm right now that's working on our receivables with our congregations to effectively take out those additional salary amounts, so that we can finally have an effective balance forward statement that we could forward to you. But it's causing us to do that additional counting and hire a firm to kind of assist us with the extra time that that requires of us to complete. So um, when we move forward, it's going to properly take exactly how much um, that employee's uh, pay is from the church's account. It's going to
So
take the correct
that's
amount.
my concern. So if I say, so how would I know about that 1%? If I tell you that there's 33,000 in tithe, and what's 3,000 now, 3,000 something in payroll. That's what's normally paid to you all every month. So how will I know to what percentage you're going to pull if the system's going to
So
automatically pull it?
so there's two different pieces. So there's the tithe, that's separate pool, that's
Mm-hmm.
on the 10th of the month, and that's always going to be exactly what you give us. When we're talking about the locality, we can share with you like what historically we're seeing for each of your workers, so that you can better assess what that's going to look like. um, we could probably do that by sharing like probably the last couple, because I'm guessing everyone is on there. I'm not sure if you have any incomplete ones, but uh, it should be just around 1%. I'm assuming you guys are not as complicated as Colorado. Colorado has FMLA and a few others that are coming out that essentially we're absolving as well because of us not having everyone on the system. So yeah, that you can generally anticipate it to just be an extra 1% on top of that 7.65. But I'd have to concur with Kelly, but it's not going to be much more. But you're going to be notified essentially how much it is.
Okay, so so then that's going to make me make an adjustment on my side because I do the financial report. And then I'm putting out there that I have 3,000 in salaries, but then I might have to come back and show that, well, I did 3,020 or whatever, because of the tax adjustment for the one employee or whoever it is that the 1% is showing up for. So there's still going to be an adjustment on somebody's side because I'm not sending you the exact amount, not unless I get it before I do the finance report. You see what I'm saying? Because I still
Yeah,
got to
I
show
understand.
on my books what the salaries were for the employees.
Right.
Mm.
No, I understand. Yeah, it's and I know like you might be doing the accounting ahead of time versus like we try to do like the cash accounting. So we're essentially when the transaction happens, that's when we take account of it in our books. Um, Kind of going by that same process, the day when it happens, you'll get the notification that is going to tell you exactly how much is being pulled to cover, XYZ amount for your payroll. Um, I don't know if the system does any because the thing is, because of how late we do get some of our submissions, and also because short staff. Uh, Kelly and Sister Bainham actually is not well at this time. She's in the hospital.
Mhm.
She and her have been working on putting in people's payroll information all the way to the night before payroll.
Mhm.
So a lot of our stuff ends up being real, late on in the process. So really, this is definitely going to save us a lot of time in not only in collection, but also the cleanup work won't be necessary after the process has taken place because it will be automated from the APS system. So I don't know if you can rely more on the cash accounting side of it, where you actually, place where it actually hit your bank account. Uh, you can do that. I don't know if you're using donation accounting, correct?
Mhm. Yes.
So in that process, if you know that there is a payable and you're taking account for the payable in donation accounting, how are you doing that before we pull? Are you doing it after it leaves PNC Bank? How are you doing that?
As far as showing it on the finance report,
Yeah, are you are
it's
you
done before I send you the money.
so
It's
you're
it's, it's done before.
is done
Uh-huh.
before you're sent the money?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm hoping. So I know that it's a little bit difficult not knowing the exact amount um, at that time, and it would be easier because it saves you time having to put it in beforehand instead of after the fact. Um, I can ask Kelly like how early on she can get the calculation to you, if the night before the pull is done or right before the pull is done, like that can be done. But the earliest that I know that the system sends it out automatically will be the day before it takes the pull, because we do next day pull instead of same day pull, if that makes sense. Um, but I can't really speak towards how early she can tell you the exact amount there,
Mhm.
until it hits the account. I'll see it in AAS side, but as far as APS is concerned, I mean, like I said, it's probably just going to be just 1%. But I know that not everyone in your locality lives in the St. Louis area that has that 1%. So she might be able to adjust the calculation for you and get exactly what you need beforehand. As long as you guys send us things early in advance, she could probably have a special inclusion there. But yeah.
Okay. What did you have anything else, Anita?
I think that was pretty much it. Yeah, I didn't understand that part of what he was explaining to me. So yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for jumping on the call. And I guess whenever I come to Kansas City, I'm gonna owe you lunch.
Oh no, I'm appreciate that I can help. No, it's
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.